Hello everyone and welcome to another Muffin video. Before we dive in here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell and drop a like on the video too if you're enjoying the content. Don't forget to join our Discord server as well if you're not already there. The link is in the description down below. We've also activated our channel membership which comes with all kinds of perks, so check that out if you're interested in joining. And speaking of channel membership, I do want to take a moment to give a special shout out to our current members. So thanks to all of you, and I hope you're enjoying the benefits. And finally, a reminder that all comments on every video will be automatically entered into our weekly giveaways. Winners will be randomly selected every Monday. So good luck, and let's get this started.
Okay, so as always with a new class change, we have on our hands a new dragon as well. And in this video, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this dragon's mechanics, which are actually pretty approachable and not that difficult compared to some of the previous dragons we've had. So we'll start by taking a quick look at the Exiled Dragon as it sits in game and just have a quick read of its mechanics here. Now the one important thing is you're going to absolutely need to make sure, since you transition into class change 3, all of our stats have decreased, including accuracy, so make sure you jack up your accuracy to a high enough level that you can get your actual accuracy to the level it needs to be, keeping in mind your cat buns if you have obviously sufficient pink cheese cats to get additional accuracy there. So with that said, the mechanics of this Exiled Dragon are quite interesting. So this fight is going to be in a slightly different arena than our previous dragons. There are 6 spaces we can stand on instead of the usual 3. And with these 6 spaces, the mechanics are basically around these artillery hits and as well this fiery claw strike that is going to involve certain amounts of movement. Basically, the way the artillery works is it's going to highlight a player and it's going to show a number of dots in an icon above the player's head, and as well their zone is going to be glowing red. That number of dots is the number of players that needs to move to that sector to mitigate that damage. Now we can have either a 1x artillery hit, which is basically one player gets targeted, the 2x is 2 players, etc., and then repeat as multiple players. And then you have Apocalypse, which highlights every single player and they have to spread out in order to avoid damage. And then the final important ability is the Fiery Claw Strike, which basically the boss picks a direction and hits 3 sectors in the direction he's facing. So the easiest way as always to show this is I'm going to transition now into a recording of a fight I took earlier, and we're going to see exactly how this dragon plays out in practice. Now this fight wasn't exactly perfect mechanics by everyone, but it's going to be enough that you can at least see how this fight works. So right away you see here that this is 6 sectors around the fight, and everyone's going to split out. Now I'm going to pause for a second here. As you can see here, we have the first artillery hit, and this player here has 2 dots above their head, which means they need to be in a sector that has 2 players in order to reduce the damage they take. Now they were fine here, but they still moved over to the left, and either way it was fine. You could see the damage they took from that was minimal at best. So now that that artillery strike is out of the way, people are going to continue spreading around here, and the best layout is going to be each person stands in their own sector. As you see here, it's spread out in that way. Every sector has 1 player standing in it, and that way it's quite easy to move together. So here we have the first Apocalypse. You can see I rotate around the map. Every single zone is targeted, every player is targeted, and each has 1 dot above their head, meaning all players have to be spread out, as you can see here. So that's what you do for Apocalypse. All players, 1 on each sector to avoid that damage. Not avoid completely, obviously, mitigate it. So right away we have another one. This is a 2 here. Now this player is taking off. See, I moved in because I wasn't sure if he was going to move, but he moved in the end and ended up being just fine. He mitigated the damage there. So basically this is how the fight works. It's this simple. Earthquake's another AoE ability, as you can see here, that the healer has to heal through. But basically this is the entire mechanics. You stand in a circle around the sectors and then move according to, here we have another Apocalypse. You can see here 1 dot above each player's head, and we stand all in our individual sectors, and that's how we avoid that. And honestly, when you get to a certain level of stats, you can pretty much just ignore the mechanics completely. And here you can see, for example, there's 3 and 3. I moved in, nobody's moving. I took a little too long there. I should have moved in sooner, and then this guy over here would have moved in as well. But it's fine. You can see, even though we missed the mechanics, we didn't die from it. And generally speaking, the boss is relatively forgiving. If you miss the correct number of targets 2-3 times, it doesn't really matter that much. But obviously, each successive time you miss the artillery strike stacking requirement, the damage it deals increases. So it can reach a point where you will eventually get killed by that. So you can see here, this is the fiery claw strike. You can see the boss faces a direction and 3 zones are illuminated. So the boss is facing here. Now these players actually don't move, and you can see that the damage it deals is significant. And now they're lucky that they didn't die. But in some cases, if you're already low HP, for example, if your healer is having trouble keeping the party up, that could in fact kill you completely. So definitely be mindful of that as you're progressing. Here we have another 2x artillery, and yeah, everyone should be moving in there. We managed to mitigate one of them, the other one not quite, but anyway, it was a bit better than the first try. But yeah, this is basically the entire mechanics of the fight. Rinse and repeat until the end. And another earthquake. You can see this Yoshi player almost died here, but the healer managed to keep them alive. And that's it. That's the whole fight. Just keep an eye on the numbers, stay spread for Apocalypse, and that's how you win. Now, of course, we are at a stage where we are nowhere close to being able to kill the dragon. So play around with different, if you're DPS, play around with different Mammon. We have another Fiery Claw Strike again, in the same direction, interestingly enough. So one player does move out, the others don't. Play around with which Mammon you think might be good. I've experimented a little bit. These classic stacking Mammon seem to work okay, but with this class change tree, it even seems that some other Mammon, like Shadow Raven, for example, might have a chance of increasing your DPS. So definitely play around from what you would normally have used in previous dragons to see if you can eke out a bit more damage than you might have expected. So that's basically the whole fight, and that's all you need to know. And as always, as we take a look here, the rewards that you get are pretty significant, so do make sure you're doing your dragon every single day, especially right now since we have the Jade Pool event currently, which is one of the sources of these spoons. In order to take advantage of that, that is the reskinned Tasha event, known as the Jade Pool event now, for this journey to the west. And that's basically it. So good luck, everyone. Hope you enjoy the new dragon. I personally think it's pretty straightforward. I don't think it's particularly challenging. And like I said, once you reach a certain level of stats, you can just basically completely ignore the mechanics and all just stay spread, and the healer will just heal through and it'll be all fine. So that's it for this video. Take care, everyone, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.